Hi, Cameron Burke here with Absolute Ministries, talking about the Absolute Mentor Training Curriculum. We are on part 5 of 8, and this section is titled The Long Road of Recovery. And it is just that. This is not a snapshot, all right? You are coming into this person's story in a micro moment, right? You are entering into a longer timeline that's been going on. And if you can see that, like on a storyboard, if you will, or on a timeline of a story, from the time they were born until the time an individual is going to pass on, at what point in there are you entering this story to introduce the influence of a mentor or a discipler or somebody who is bringing positive influence, biblical, godly impact into this person's life? So it is a long road of recovery, and everybody's path is different. Keep that in mind as well. What you have experienced in your life and the things that make you who you are different than this individual you're going to be mentoring, right? Your background, your family of origin, where you have come from, what you've experienced, all creates a sum total of your makeup for today. So, what brings you together with this individual is the common denominator, and it's a beautiful thing, the common denominator of Jesus and the desire to pursue Him. Another key aspect of this is to keep that big picture in mind, right? That entire storyboard, that entire timeline, we have to keep the big picture in mind. And oftentimes I've thought of a football field, right? In an individual's life, when they eventually pass on, is the proverbial end zone, right? They have reached the finish line or a goal line in their life. But your interactions with this individual might just make up 5 yards on that field while they're in their program of Absolute. But it will impact and allow them to run and travel differently the remaining time down the field, right, that there is left in their life. And it's different for everybody. Keep the big picture in mind in the midst of all of that. When you're having conversations that are difficult, remember that it's not necessary to always win the war in every moment. This can be very difficult, especially if you've got convictions that are genuine and may even be true, okay? Just a caution that if you try and win the war when it's really just a small skirmish or a small battle, right, to use a metaphor, you might forfeit the relationship and being able to influence them another day. So if somebody's having an off day or a difficulty in a specific moment, don't get caught up in, nope, you need to come into alignment with this way of thinking right now. I've watched individuals trip over that, and I had to learn that one the hard way early on in ministry days. Just learning to interact with people in a mature manner so that you can preserve the relationship that will probably give way to another conversation another day. Another point, expect to be let down repeatedly. You've got standards, I've got standards, and this individual has standards, and they're all different, right? What you think is important, this individual is probably not going to think is as important. And it's a matter of creating and building that relationship so that you can have impact and influence in this person's life and disciple them ultimately into what God thinks is important, as referenced in His Word, right? Everybody is human. That's the bottom line. And this road of recovery is one that they are going to travel for the rest of their life. Not necessarily battling with substance abuse, but just like you and me, maybe the substance abuse is over or the detrimental way of sin that led to death, right, is over. We've crossed into eternal life and come to Jesus, but now we are on that biblical big word road of sanctification that we are traveling. And this road is a long one. And like I said, it'll last beyond just substance abuse. The renewing of our mind is going on over and over and constantly, on and on, as we are embarking in relationships and being grafted into the local church. So this is a long road of recovery, and we appreciate you signing up and getting involved and being willing, having an attitude of willingness, which is really a hallmark of somebody who's leaning forward and engaging in what matters most to God, people. Thank you for investing in people. We'll see you soon.